morning. Welcome to AMHQ Early. It is Monday, December the 21st. We have all the weather information that you need, getting your day up and going. And we're starting with the Christmas warmth. Yeah, it doesn't feel like that should be our story, but it definitely is. It is starting to look like Christmas around the country as far as day. By Christmas, you could be in the 70s in New York City. What? I know, it's nuts. And it's all thanks to this jet. It's all about that jet, folks. So the jet, what happened over the weekend is that we saw it dip just a little bit. Just that little bit of a dip is what helped us bring some of that cool air a little farther south and for the East Coast, whereas it's really been the West Coast and the entire western half of the country that's been stuck in that cooler air. Well, it's retreating back, and that means all the cold air going back to Canada, and that means that we're going to keep this amplified pattern of just warm air streaming out of the Gulf of Mexico on into the southern states, making its way up 95 like a lot of you will be doing, and on into the Northeast all the way through the end of the week, right? Now, if you're in the northern plains, you had some colder air in the forecast, but not in the Northeast. Today, 55 degrees for your high in D.C. That's 10 above average. Boston, you're going to be 54. That's like shorts weather in Boston, right? You're 14 degrees above average. Just incredible warmth, and it goes up from here. You'll notice 62 for D.C. tomorrow. Pittsburgh, you're 56. St. Louis, 54 degrees, 14 degrees above average, and it just keeps on going. How about Wednesday? Busy travel day for us. D.C., you'll be about 67. Pittsburgh, 64. Detroit, Michigan, 61 degrees, 27 degrees above average. Same for Chicago, 27 degrees above average. Wrap your mind around that one for a second, right? Okay, this is where we can break some record highs on Thursday, on Christmas Eve. Record high temperatures. We could break those record highs in the middle of the night. That's what we saw last week. So incredible warmth still going on Friday for Christmas. We still definitely have a lot of highs that could be broken. Look at this forecast. Now, on average in New York, you're about 41 degrees for your maximum temperature of the day. And you'll notice we don't even get close to that. The closest we get is today and then on Saturday, where we're only 13 degrees above average. Incredible warmth on the way. So some severe thunderstorms possible this week. We're taking a look at Houston right now. You have scattered thunderstorms through the day. In New Orleans, you have some morning showers. They're going to give way to some stronger thunderstorms this afternoon, though. And more severe weather is expected tomorrow night and into Wednesday, which is not good news for those of you that are getting on the road. So we're talking about these warm temperatures and basically this open door from the Gulf of Mexico, but that also means all that moisture is coming right on in, and that's going to be one of our items that kind of fuels the fire for some of these stronger storms. Then we add, so in the jet, this is kind of what's helping to allow that moisture to make its way north. It's these surface lows that develop that trigger these thunderstorms that we watch, and they're going to be traveling right along with that jet. So watch what happens. We get these showers. They're spread out across the south. You can see this swath of it right now that's developed last night. Most of the rain up in the Ohio River Valley, but watch how this evolves through the day. You're going to want to watch down here on the Gulf Coast. Look at Louisiana into Mississippi. Later on this afternoon, this is, while you're trying to get those last minute, errands done. Maybe you're coming home from work later on today or going to work tomorrow morning. You've got a mess of a commute across Alabama. And even by Tuesday night, you're still looking at some thunderstorms in Georgia and stretching into South Carolina. So today, this is the threat of severe weather. Dallas to Corpus Christi, over to Shreveport, into Lake Charles, not quite into New Orleans, but hold tight because by Wednesday, you have that threat of severe weather in New Orleans, stretching across Mobile and much of the Panhandle. I-20, I-10, I would watch very closely. The Mississippi River Valley here is what's really, where we're watching for the possibility of those stronger storms. If you are planning on traveling on Wednesday, you just have to keep your eye on the radar and make sure that you have your radio turned on for any alerts that might be coming across for the local area, right? Because those will be broadcast for you. So just keep with the radio rather than, your satellite there. Look at this. We've got a lot of rain in the forecast. We could see some minor flooding there. And then Memphis, we're going to be looking at some thunderstorms on Wednesday. That's really your timing. It's a big travel day, Anaridis.
Yeah, a lot of people expected to head out to get to the holiday destination. Good morning.
And you can also see man-made snow, right? Whenever we have those colder temperatures, we can actually get some of those slopes open. Let's take a look here in Atlanta because it definitely was chilly over the weekend, but that late December warmth is returning very, very quickly. It's the mid-40s this morning. It's overcast. It's not as cool as it was over the weekend. We were down in the 20s in some spots. Right now we're at 46. So you were already seeing that moisture return. Look at the winds. This is so painting the picture for us. Look at them coming back around. That's high out here, and that moisture just heading straight up into the Mississippi River Valley. That's one of our things that's going to be fueling the thunderstorms for us. Let's track these out for you. Look at New Orleans later on this afternoon, 74 degrees. Yeah, you are going to see some thunderstorms. And in Atlanta, you're going to see them as well right through Christmas Day. So it's going to look like a wet one. Santa is going to need galoshes, I think, with this forecast in the southeast, because it is looking like because it's a holiday week, but we still have the weekend coming up, right? Okay, so check out today. This is just the start of Ferris. This is where those showers start to move in along the coast to California. They head up into the mountains, they get in the higher elevations, we get into that cold air, the northern plains, and the Tetons, the Bitterroots, you're going to get it. And then we're getting into Tuesday, that starts to spread, right? We still have that going on, but look at this East Coast rain. It's all the way up 95, and we know that's already going to be a nightmare for travel this week, and it doesn't get any better by Wednesday. We're increasingly concerned about a severe weather risk for you on Wednesday. This is going to be along I-20, I-10. This is something you have to monitor the radar for. Be prepared to pull over, make sure that you have local radio on. Just saying, if you're traveling on those thoroughfares, that's a big problem for us. Okay, so we have rain stretching from the southeast all the way up into the northeast across Pennsylvania by the time we get to Tuesday. It's still snowing in the west on Christmas Day. The Four Corners look like a white Christmas. Okay, it's 19 minutes after 5 a.m. on the East Coast, and then, you know, we just get earlier. If you're up right now, I feel for you. If you're in the center, if the central time zone, mountain time, Pacific, go to bed, right? This time
if it's
of the morning.
Pacific, you definitely are just like, you can't sleep and you're watching us. And we love you for that, and good morning.
But a lot of people are hitting the roads this time.
Yeah, you know, AAA estimates that more than 100 million of us are going to travel ahead of the Christmas holiday. And we want to check in. We want to give you your travel conditions if you're planning on traveling today or maybe even tomorrow. We check in on the situation in the Midwest. You've got a lot of rain. A very wet Indianapolis. We've got a few cars already out on the roads. If you look at the headlights shining down on the pavement, you can notice that it is wet. So maybe if you're heading south to Madison or Louisville, or maybe north to Gary, you know that 65, 71, and 64 are all the interstates.
If you're trying to get up and at 'em this morning, it's only almost 30 past the hour. So get your gears going. Welcome back to AMHQ Early. We're the holiday travel headquarters, of course, because you need to know what you're going to be facing out on the roads and in the air. But first, we need to talk about this record warmth, because I know it's what.
Good Monday morning. You're watching AMHQ. You've got 20 minutes before the top of the hour. It's time to check on travel, and a lot of you are heading out ahead of the Christmas holiday or whatever holiday you may be celebrating. More than 100 million, according to AAA.
That is a lot of people on the roads, and I got to tell you what, over the weekend, it was insane. I can only imagine how this week is going to go.
Yeah, so we got rain in the forecast for a number of those travel days. We take a live look at Atlanta now. You're waking up to just overcast skies. No rain now, but rain later.
Yes, rain moving in and sticking around, unfortunately. Here come those showers. You can see them in North Georgia right now. Across most of the southeast, actually, you have a lot of rain in the forecast. So a lot of these thoroughfares, I-20, I-10, I-55, 65, these are all major highways that are going to be soaked. That means expect slowdowns.
And they flood often, too.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to be alert and have, you know, your weather app ready or maybe some traffic apps ready to know where to go.
There's also possibility of severe weather. So I've been telling people, you know, you want to have your local radio stations on, because you'll hear severe alerts come through on those as you're driving.
That's a good idea.
So
Instead
make
of
sure
the
you always
satellites
tune one in. Yeah.